Good evening, TradeFlare family. Welcome to the nightly breakdown, where we break down what happened today in the stock market, as well as give you an idea of what we're looking at into tomorrow. So before we head over to conduct a technical analysis of the SPY and 5 stocks, let's look at some key points to get a broad view of where we stand. The first key point is actually a question, and everybody's asking it. Was today a dead cat bounce? Meaning the short-term buyers just ran this thing up on the dip, but the real market sentiment is long-term bearish. That's what a dead cat bounce is. You'd see a quick bounce after a pretty hard sell-off. A lack of long-term buyers means that the seller can take command again. That's when the bounce would fail. In this case, we would use Fibonacci retracement to see if we were going to retrace all the way back 100% of the move. If we start to break through that 618% retracement mark, then that's starting to look a little bit bearish, starting to look like a dead cat bounce. Now, as far as how today looked, that's exactly how it looked on the S&P 500. Now, if we see energy, financials, industrials, building materials, and utilities all roll over tomorrow, that tells us that short-term buyers were present, but long-term sellers are really in control. So it would actually start to be pretty bearish in that scenario. So watch out for that to happen tomorrow. But as far as the dead cat bounce, we need to play the ball as it lies with this one. We will read the market in the morning and make a prepared decision. We really want to watch to see if the financial sector will fill the gap. If we do see it break down and roll over, we will likely see the rest of the inflationary winners do the exact same thing. So let's head over to our next key point, which is the dollar, crypto, and bond. The first, I want to bring up TLT, which tracks the 20-year treasury bonds. The inverse of TLT would give us an idea of where the 20-year yields would lie, and TLT was down about 2% today. This is kind of giving me the idea that the past few days was just a run up into TLT, or running up into bonds for safety. Today we saw the opposite reaction. We saw the bond yield start to spike, and we saw the dollar down today, actually about 0.5%. We also saw that the crypto market was down, Bitcoin was down. As far as the dollar and the bonds, those things chilling out for the first time in 3 or 4 days, and that's what these inflationary plays needed so that they could bounce. So we really do need to keep our eye on the bonds, the dollar, crypto, all of the currencies, especially watch Bitcoin because it's at this support level right around $30,000. And notice this thing keeps retesting that support line. It did it in a lot closer time period this time. So if that pattern breaks, we could be heading all the way down, probably break down to $24,000, maybe even $20,000. We do want to watch how the market and the bonds and the dollar will react to this. So definitely keep your eye on this going into tomorrow. And lastly, on our watch list, as always, is our indices and sectors. Notice I've also added the VOOV and the VOOG ETFs. These are the Vanguard S&P Value and Vanguard S&P Growth ETFs, which track the growth and value stocks in the S&P 500. So the VOOG tracks the growth stocks in the S&P 500, and the VOOV tracks the value stocks in the S&P 500. So all sectors were green today, so the VOOV and the VOOG were up today. But notice that the value stocks were leading by over 1%, and that's reflected in those sectors that have been inflationary winners as well. The XLE, the XLF, the XLI, the XLB have all been leading with inflation, and they're all value heavy, so they were up today. And they were all leading tech today, which is the opposite of Friday. Notice how the NASDAQ was leading on Friday, and the Dow was lagging really hard on Friday. And today was the exact opposite. Today we had the Dow leading really hard while the NASDAQ trailed right behind. Now I really want to see where we go from here to see if this rotation continues. So we'll see if we flip-flop tomorrow or if we roll over. So now that we have a broader idea of what to expect, let's dive into the charts, starting off with an analysis of the SPY ETF, which tracks the S&P 500. Looking at today's daily candle, it is a long-bodied green candle, engulfing the previous day's high and filling up and completing the gap. As far as volume, we did it on solid volume, less than the past few days, but this is higher than we normally see. So this candle shouldn't be taken lightly. If this is a dead cat bounce, buyers really tried to take this thing higher. Now, as far as location, this engulfing candle is right off of the 50-day SMA. If you look at the previous month, the S&P has liked to bounce off of this 50-day SMA. This bullish engulfing off of a 50-day SMA acting as support is a bullish candle, but do not count out the possibility of a dead cat bounce. As far as the levels, we're looking at today's low, today's high. And if we break today's high, I think we could head up to test 422.67. If we see the bounce continue, all-time highs after that, then we have blue skies territories after that. On the downside, if we break through yesterday's low, I think we can go ahead and go down and test that 410.50 level. And another reason you should take this candle pretty seriously is the fact that it's right at the bottom of a Bollinger Band. If we do go higher, we will remain in an uptrend. This will be yet another higher low, accompanied by by a higher high. So now that we have an idea of where our broader market sits, let's dive into the watch list, starting off with ticker symbol CCL. Looking at trend, in this case we have a larger uptrend coming from a shorter downtrend, and looking at candle structure and location especially, this is a hammer candle right at the 50-day SMA. It's accompanied by average volume, but it has a decently long body and a nice lower wick. This could be a nice sign of a reversal here, so watch out for Carnival Cruise Line. Also notice they have earnings coming up here on the 24th, so this one could start to see some volume here tomorrow and Wednesday, so watch out for Carnival Cruise Line. Next up is Salesforce, ticker symbol CRM. This thing looks nice for a little run, and if you look at the recent double bottom that we've formed here, we are holding the neckline as support now. We've now seen some general price acceptance at this level, and we could see some more buyers stepping in. If we do break above 247, my first target is going to be 251.21, and that is a neckline of a larger reverse head and shoulders here. If we do break out of this reverse head and shoulders, this is a good company, this is a nice stock. I think we could head all the way up to $300, so watch out for CRM. Next up is Fubo, and if you look at the daily here, you can see why I like this one. It's got a bull flag on the daily and it broke out. This is one that can move. My first target's going to be at $35. I think this one can go up and test all-time highs again at some point, and this is one of those growth names that got beaten down by the inflation and the rate talks. And these are all starting to jump back right now, so watch out for these. Next up on the watch list is a member suggestion, and I like this one as well. This is CRISPR Therapeutics, ticker symbol CRSP. Looking at candle structure, this looks like a hammer candle with a short lower wick that's right off of the 200-day SMA here. Like I pointed out in a previous video, this is a reverse head and shoulders with a neckline at 137.59. After seeing CRISPR and this industry hold up for the past few days, I'm thinking that we could go up and test that 137.59 area. If we do break out there, we have some room, maybe all the way up to $180. It definitely looks good as it stands right now, so definitely keep your eye on CRISPR Therapeutics. Last up on the watch list is Palantir Technology. Looking at trend, we're recently in an uptrend. If you zoom in on this channel here, it looks like we're bouncing, playing ping pong inside this channel since the beginning of June, and we're trending up to these highs at 26.16. After that, we could probably target 27.50, and if we break through 27.50, all the way up to $30. Today we got some weekly $26 calls on Palantir, looking to play the momentum in these growth stocks, so definitely we'll be watching Palantir into tomorrow. And that wraps up tonight's nightly breakdown. If you enjoyed the video, if you gained value, or if you learned something, make sure you hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe so you can get notified whenever we post any live or educational content. If you're looking to join our team and be surrounded and motivated by our online community of traders and investors, as well as gain access to trade signals that let you know whenever we make a trade, check out the link in the description below to join our Discord. To gain full access, upgrade to TradeFlare Pro for $24.99 a month. Get half off your first month using discount code TFPRO2021. And don't be mistaken, we are not financial advisors, and none of this is a recommendation. The stock market is risky and you could lose money, so use the information inside these videos at your sole discretion. As always, you cannot forget that time is your most valuable asset, so quit wasting it. Get up, get out, and go get it, my friend.